Hey guys, and welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter card game review. Now, another game up on the table talk today is a game made by the same creators as the games Nightmare Forest Alien Invasion and Dead Run. This game is called Archmage Origins and is the beginning small game of a more larger series, which I won't talk about until later. But this game is a simple memory game that is also a competitive memory game, and we are trying to obtain as many points as possible by playing Archmage cards. These cards have numbers on them that you'll place across a grid, and you're going to try and put a column and a row card together and gain as many points as you possibly can to obtain certain cards. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you a little bit more about the game, but let me go ahead and show you what it looks like first. Okay guys, so here's how you set up Archmage Origins. Now you get 20 of these cards here with the little symbols of the evil demons on them or whatever. And you set up a 4x4 row and column, and you have 4 separate over here in the side area. You also have a 4-player setup here, which has red and blue and yellow and green, as well as a little marker for your whole monster icon. So once that's all set up, it's ready to go. You just go ahead and select, every single player will select one of their colors and put it on their side, just like this. And once everybody has their own color, as well as all of their cards, they should have 9 cards in total. They're going to have 1, 2, 3, all the way to 8, as well as their hold monster and their token. And then the game will go ahead and begin. Okay, so in the game, on your turn, you're going to have a couple of options you can do. The first thing you do is peek. So you'll take a card from the table and you'll look at it and see what it does or what it says. Then you'll put it down and you'll take another card and look at it and see what it does. Now, if you get a spell card like this guy here, you're going to do whatever the spell card says to do, and you're then going to replace this card with a new one from the draw deck and put it face down. After you're done with that, you've looked at your 2 cards. Then you're going to go ahead and decide if you'd like to play a hold monster token. And if not, or if so, you do that and place your hold monster token down on the board. Then you'll place one of your Archmage cards, one of these guys here, onto the board on either the top rows or the side columns. Now, if you're playing with 4 players, you're just going to go ahead and divvy up the sides, one for 2 players and one for the other 2 players. And you'll place it on either a column or a row, just by simply placing it on the table. Let me go ahead and show you what a turn looks like. Okay, so let's say that it is the yellow player's turn. Well, he'll go ahead and set that card aside, along with setting his hold monster card aside. He's not going to need to use that right now. And now he's got his hand of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. He'll just put it here. He's going to choose any of these cards here, and he's going to pick them up and look at them one at a time. The first one he finds is the dragon. That's worth 5 points. He'll take that and he'll set it down. Then he'll pick up another card over here. Oh, and this is a teleport. This says to discard this card and replace it with a card from the exploration deck. Next, pick up the replacement card and the monster card that is and the monster cards that are adjacent to it diagonally. Accept cards that are under a hold monster token and shuffle them and place those cards face down. Okay, so that's pretty simple. Replace it like this. Take all the cards that are next to it diagonally, like this here, and this one over here, and these 2 over here. And then you're going to shuffle them all up, just like that, and put them back face down. After that, you'll get an extra peek action, because that doesn't count as a peek action, and he's going to look at the same card again. Okay, so that's a 2. So now he knows the dragon's over here and the 2's over here. On the end of his turn, he can decide if he wants to switch these cards or leave them. So maybe he'll switch them when he knows the dragon is here. The last thing he's going to do on his turn is pick one of these cards. Now, he knows the dragon's over here, so it might be a good idea for him to go ahead and place this card up here, representing this 8 for this specific column right here. And at the end of the game, obviously, if he's able to acquire the most points from this area and this area, then he's going to score this monster into his pile. So that's a good idea. Then the next person is going to begin by going left. They're going to look at 2 pieces. One here. Okay, that's a 2. One over here. That's a 1. Maybe he'll switch them. Maybe he won't. And then he'll decide what he wants to do. So he knows that this column's probably not so good, so he'll place his 1 here. Now, unfortunately, he didn't realize that the dragon was here, so he placed that 1 there, which means if this dragon is here at the end of the game, he might not get that card. Now, obviously, if the yellow guy had placed here in a 2-player or in a 4-player game or 3-player game, you're going to need to share spaces, so you're just going to simply place it like that. But that's the idea of a single-player turn. You go ahead and do that the entire game, and so everybody places on either of their sides. Maybe blue and yellow's over here, and green and red is over here. The game is going to continue until every single player has had their 8 turns or had 8 rounds, at which point all these cards are going to be used. Now, before that happens, hopefully you're going to have used your Hold Monster card, which is this guy here. You play this card, and you can put this Hold Monster token down on any piece of any card on the board. And that means that no player can peek at that specific monster. Now, there are cards and abilities that can change that interaction, but for right now, we'll just say that you can't actually look at it. So we'll place that down here. And that's the basic idea. Every single player that's playing the game is going to place all of their numbers down, and afterwards, the scoring begins. Let me go ahead and show you how scoring works. Okay, so this is what the game would look like at the end of a two-player game. Now, obviously, if you're playing just two players, you can use one player here, and one player can be on the opposite side. But just so you guys can see everything, we're going to set them off both on the same side. You take off all the Hold Monster tokens, which are these guys here, and you move them off the board. And then everything flips up. So you go ahead and flip all the blue players' cards up, and then all the yellow players' cards up right after that, as well as the monster cards. And all the monster cards are going to reflect a number of 1 through 5. Let me go ahead and finish these up real quick here. Alright, so now you can see where all the cards are placed. Whoop. There's a ton of cards. And we'll just do a couple examples. We won't do them all. How about up to here? There we go. Okay, so you actually put them all over face up, but we'll just do what we have here. So the person who'd win this monster, this is a 4. So yellow here has 4 and 2, which is 6, and blue has 4 and 3, which is 7. So normally that would mean that the person who had the highest, which is blue, would get this monster. However, the person who is winning for this specific guy down here, so it has to have at least 2 points over the next highest. So because it wasn't at least 2 points over, no one gets this one. This one over here is 6 and 2, which is 8, and this is 7 and 4, which is 11, so the blue player would get this. And then 5 and 4, which is 9, and 8 and 2, which is 10, so yellow would get this. And then 5 and 2, which is 7, and 6 and 4, which is 10, so blue would get this. We'll also take a look at the dragon one over here. So we have our 8 and 1, which is 9, and our 5 and 1, which is 6. And this one says you have to have at least 3 points over, which you do. So the blue player would get this. After all of these monsters are all tallied up, or all given to a certain player, they go ahead and count all their scores, and the person with the highest amount of cards is the winner of the game. So that's basically how you play the game. It's very, very simple. You place all your cards down, one a turn, and all your opponents do as well while you're peeking at monsters or flipping over spells. And remember, whenever you flip over a spell, you have that opportunity to peek again, which is nice, so the spell doesn't really count for anything. And in fact, most spells just kind of rearrange the board. So you think you know where certain things are, and then you don't. It's kind of like that classic memory game where you're flipping over, oh, here's an 8, I gotta find another 8, and you flip over that one, okay, you got a pair. Kind of like that, but a competitive style game. Now, that's the basic idea of the game. There's obviously bigger monsters like the dragon, and there's smaller ones like the maybe one of the orcs or imps, which is 1 point, as well as those monsters that do different things. So maybe you're an elementalist. Certain monsters will say you get an extra bonus point for having this monster. So it might be a 2, but for elementalist it's a +1, which makes it a 3. Or maybe it's a -1, so giving you only 1 point. Well, that's the idea of the game. Let me tell you what I think about it. Alright guys, so that's how you play the game Archmage Origins. Now it comes to you from the designer of Alien Invasion and Dead Run. Both those games are really good. If you like that art, you're going to like this. So the quality of components is simple. It's cards with some tokens. So it's a really small game. I think it's going to be like $8 or $10 on Kickstarter. So if you like the kind of memory matching style games, this is going to be the game for you. Personally, I really did enjoy this game, and the theme did come out. You did feel like you're trying to vie for control over the monsters on the field, but the monsters are never going to be fully in your control because everybody's vying for them, and they're always moving around the board. Some of them are going to benefit you, some of them will hurt you. And obviously that dragon, that big one that you want all the points for, he's going to be going crazy. Now, the main negative of the game is obviously if you find the dragon early, and then your opponent finds the dragon, you guys are going to be focusing on that card, making sure that you get it, going back and forth. And that can kind of be a little unbalanced, I suppose, or it can lead you astray when maybe the little guy is going to actually end up winning because of that. I remember getting the dragon originally at one game, and I'm like, oh, I've got it. And then at the very end of the game, when my opponent sees it, moves it away, and I lost it. So there is that, but it's not really a fault of the game its own. It's kind of more of a personal thing where it's just like, so close. But if you like that kind of thing, you're going to like this game. Artwork is amazing as usual, and I'm very happy to support this game. I definitely think you guys should check it out on Kickstarter. It is going to be a really nice small micro game that you can play with pretty much anybody. Alright guys, thanks for watching another Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter card game review. If you like this game and you want to support it, go ahead and check out the description below and purchase the game on Kickstarter. It's cheap and it's cool, really enjoyable game. Also, don't forget to check out the rest of our videos here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment. Everything helps me and I greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to check out our website, unfilteredgamer.com, where you'll see lots of blog posts, Kickstarter lists, and more, including our next giveaways. We got a bunch of them coming out, as well as our blogger giveaway, which has got tons and tons of games out there. You should definitely check it out. I think there's like 10 or so. We're working at the Cardboard Stacker, the Board Game Vault, everythingboardgames.com, and more. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.